Hi, and welcome to another episode of Bites of Reality, where we're chatting about Ready to Love. I'm Indira, and I'm joined this week by Moya and Taran. Say hi, guys.
Hello.
Hey, everybody.
And this week, we're talking about episode number 4 in the series. And to start it out, I want to say that I agree with a statement Tommy made in the show where he thanked the participants for taking the process seriously.
I commend each of y'all for taking this process serious. Now it's time to hone in on what your heart desires.
Yeah, I am definitely loving this week. Like the personalities came out. We got to see more characters. Like you just get to see a whole little more scope. I like kind of excited for next week too.
AP, can you step forward, please?
I have a lump in my throat, I have butterflies in my stomach, and I'm nervous at this point.
Precious, can you step forward, please?
What in the hell am I doing here? Okay, I am shocked. This man is possibly giving me my walking papers.
This week was, I needed a bit more. I needed a bit more for me. But it was cool. I think with this week, I kind of noticed and appreciated the general attractiveness of the cast. This episode was like, okay, these guys kind of not bad looking. These are some nice looking guys.
Yeah. And we got introduced to a new guy, Donovan, who's 42. He was a curveball again. He went on a blind date with Precious, or Red Dress, as Taran calls her.
Yeah.
And I'm wearing my ode to Precious today because she did show up at the date in red again.
I am hella. let me take it to the Bay. Let me take it to Cali. I am hella ready to love.
Precious was a little bit more. She was a bit more edgy this week. I don't know if she was, on fire, but she was just letting that be known, putting that out there that she is. I just felt like she just needed to get some, and then maybe it might calm her down just a little bit. But she was on it.
So the word we're using is edgy. I thought it was a bit pushy. I thought it was a bit.
What is my body telling you right now?
You're attentive right now. You're listening. Your senses are up right now.
They're heightened. Yeah. I will definitely say, and they're pleasantly aroused.
Was it that she was trying to be her usual friendly self, but it was overboard, or was it really a result of her being celibate, as she said, or abstaining for 6 months? I felt she was doing what she typically does, but it was just a bit overbearing this week. It came out this week, and I think a lot of it came out this week because at the beach thing or the pool thing that they had, they were drinking, and I think she cannot hold her liquor well.
Okay. That's strong.
So with her, with the drinking, it came like just real extra. It came real extra. It came out more like just thirsty more than anything. Like you trying to just do everything, and it's not clear to me now who she really is interested in, as opposed to last week, she was all on Paul. Now, here's the thing. In editing the series, what I realized in rewatching episode 1, she didn't like Paul.
Who else are we not feeling?
P.O. is what he go by?
I'm P.O.
Precious.
Oh, Precious.
Nice to meet you.
Okay.
Paul, call P.O.
P.O. What does P.O. mean? Where I'm from, that's parole officer.
That's what I
Bless his heart.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering what happened between the first episode and the second episode, then to the third episode, where she is so much into Paul. I'm curious because he is not reciprocal.
Oh, I just going to say the same thing. Like Grandpa is really doing a lot. I mean,
Grandpa Popo.
yeah, like I felt like he really like just pushed it to the side at that house at the house, and I was like, oh, damn, boy, like at least.
Let's do this. So let me mingle because I want to talk to a couple of people. I want you to do the same.
I'm doing the same.
But you know what I didn't notice though? Her voice is kind of annoying.
Wiley. You are a badass.
That's how you make you look.
That's why I said she was drunk. And I think, notice even Demetrius asked her, like, was she yelling? And when he asked her, were you yelling? She never answered. She was like still playing. Like he was saying, were you yelling?
Yeah, why you was yelling?
I think she has a particular voice. Like it's not it does have a bit of raspiness to it, a bit of depth to it in general. Today, in yesterday's episode, it was just more. It was like she could hardly talk, but she was doing a lot of talking and a lot of drinking and that kind of thing.
I like being social because it allows me to feel different energies. And I know we're two separate sides of the spectrum with that. You're a very classy stand-up man, but I like to see different personalities to try to get like a vibe off them.
But as it relates to a date with Donovan, on that part, I think Donovan is a nice looking young man, but I saw him in some of their pictures earlier, so I knew to expect him. And he actually, I feel better about it. Like he looked like a player in the stuff that I saw. Not that he did anything. It's just like, you look at people and you judge them. Right. I looked at him and then I was like, he looked like he looked like he might have been a Cornelius. Like he's not serious, but he so far he seems to be as if he has good intent. Oh, by the way, this episode is brought to you by the word intention.
I'm trying to be intentional about the people that I talk to and interact with, because I did that before.
We get in the pool or what?
My intentions definitely is to get wet, but...
Tori's the first person to give me any type of gift in this process, and it shows me that he's a true Southern gentleman. There's just such intentionality there that I feel really special.
Me and Tori both have a connection with Sabrina, so now it's time for me to be intentional. I'm gonna turn it up a little bit more to let Sabrina know exactly this is what I want.
I am gonna get in a relationship with you.
Oh.
But what are you saying?
Oh, so you're set on that, huh?
I'm very intentional.
Oh.
Now I'm at that point to where it's like I'm getting no nonsense. I know what I want. Somebody who is independent, but also wants to be a team player.
Him and he was listening. I like that. When he was talking to her, he clearly was uncomfortable. To your point in Zero last week about how the girls or how the women were forthright with the guys last week, he wasn't. That's the only thing I would say. He did not. He was clearly not feeling her.
Yes.
But did not say to her, like the women did with the guys, like, listen, you feel like my brother, you feel like my mentor. I don't think this is gonna go further. He could have said, well, I like you, but you're not for me. Because she would have then stopped her.
Right.
Pushing, because she was doing it because she thought it was a mutual thing. I think she was kind of pushing up on him because she thought it was mutual, whereas he's sitting there grinning and he wasn't feeling it. And he could have just said, well, I don't think this is what I want to do.
I've saw a couple of indications that she may have wanted me. She's a wild stallion, but not someone I want to tame. I want this person to really be for me and I for them. I'm just not at a point right now where I want to settle for anything less than that.
He does not like Precious, and that was very clear to me on the date. Precious wants people to like her. And she has not yet mastered the art of being herself so that people would be naturally drawn to her. I feel like she's still trying to do things or say things or be a way that she thinks guys like.
When I first laid eyes on her, I thought she was beautiful young lady, very tall. That was actually one of the things that I was very attracted to, but I want to see if this is a connection.
And that comes across as being pushy. She's always, talking with innuendos, or she's always pushing up on a guy. She's always, some of them say superficial conversation because she has not yet tapped into how to just be herself and let, draw the guys in.
But when I see her acting a certain way, making like little comments, it does make me wonder what depth does she want her relationship to go?
She is not typically what the world views as feminine because she's tall. Like I noticed that when they were in the group shot. She's tall. She is, like I said, she has a deeper, raspier voice. So I don't know how she is at work. She's an IT consultant, I think I saw. So she may be who has have to be kind of alpha. So I think whereas Sabrina and even Takia, they have a kind of, and even Sydney from last season, that rest in your femininity kind of thing. Even Aisha as well from last season. She is, I agree with you. I can agree with that she's kind of not sure. Like she's trying to do what she thinks is resting in her femininity.
Yes.
and not necessarily what is being.
I agree with that.
And she should just be her. She should just be herself, and they may not like that, and then that may be fine. Because you can't keep the charade up for forever.
Right.
You have to at some point be yourself.
That's it.
Because she might still not be comfortable with the insecurities that she has, being tall and, like you said, the raspier voice and all that stuff. So I guess that's where the other things come into play.
Yeah.
So Tehran, to you as the resident guy on the panel, how is a good way for a guy to say, I'm not interested in you? Just like all the women did last week. What could Donovan have said? Have you thought about something like that?
No, I think what he did was fine. I think it was too early to say, like, hey, I'm not interested in you because it's just a first date. Sometimes you meet people and sometimes you don't take to them as well as you do take to them. And so to keep it fair, you could not take the person this week, and then next week you get to see a different side of them, which makes you more drawn in. So to say off the bat that I'm not interested in you, on a first meet date, it wouldn't be fair enough.
Okay, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
But I read his face though. When I said she didn't pick this up, that he wasn't interested, because I was like, it didn't.
She said he's not. She did say he's not picking it up.
But I don't think Donovan was picking up what I was putting down as far as the heat that it was exuding off my body when I was looking at him. I'm thinking, like, are you feeling what I'm feeling? The heat.
But he fine. So I sometimes you can see why they doing it, because he's really a nice looking man. She definitely wasn't reading the room. She wasn't reading the room at all. Now, Wiley and
Christina. Yes.
Okay. Again, I want Tehran to take this one because I have some thoughts on Christina, but Tehran, tell me what you thought.
Yes, Tehran, you go.
I thought Tina was fine. I do think that she was. She caught my attention, as the camera zoomed around. But I thought that she is still a bit more mature than Wiley.
Oh man, okay. Tommy did his job on this one, so I'm like, okay.
I woke up feeling green today.
So that means you match my fly.
Match my style.
Okay.
He was like a little school girl who was just like, just all over. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe she's actually here, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I felt like through a conversation, it was mature. But I do feel that she's still a bit more mature than Wiley is. And I don't think that her and Wiley's going to be her pick. I think it's going to be for a more older person.
Even since I was younger, middle school, I was dating high school. In high school, I was dating college. In college, I've always dated older.
They found someone who was in his age bracket, but she was not interested in a guy in an age bracket. She was interested in older men. Also, and that's why I asked Tehran to comment first, because I know as a woman, I'm looking at her through the lens of a woman's eyes. Because when she was coming and she was walking with all her breasts out, and then I saw the lashes and I saw the hair, the weave, and I was like, I was like, oh, this is a lot of not. I was like, I need but then I was like, Wiley was freaking out over her, so I was like, okay, well, he likes it, so whatever. But as a woman looking at it, it was like,
I find what she said interesting, because when she was talking to Paul, when she said that in the past, she's always dated older. She was talking to Paul because Paul was older. So I understood that. But I didn't understand that to necessarily mean that she wants to continue doing that. She has said that is her past behavior. She's always dated.
No, she was to me, that was what she was saying was her type, older men. So she was like with Paul, she was like, oh, well, now she ain't know what we know with Paul, because by this time now Paul is kind of tapered out. So he ain't doing the whole PO, post office, whatever, patrol officer, whatever he was doing when women first met him.
I got some good insights to Paul in this episode.
Christina is brand new to this process. She's beautiful, a gorgeous, young, attractive lady. I definitely want to get to know her.
I love to hear a man that when they know what they want, they go after it.
Yeah. And let me put this plug in right now for Ready to Love. You guys have to bring Wiley back on a different season. This is not his season. This is not his group. I like Wiley. I like Wiley. I saw a whole new side of Wiley today where he is very mature for his age.
I was like, okay, all right, I already feel the energy, but I feel like it's always better when you have a connection here first. You know what I mean? Let's see where this could go.
I think the women are looking too much as the age as a number and not really getting to know him. And I saw some things this week that made me think like, okay, I think Wiley is ready to love. I think he gets it.
What did you see?
I don't know.
What did you see? What did you see this week that made you feel mature? Because this week I actually felt true to Ryan. I agree with Ryan. He came off very schoolboyish. I see now why the women were saying he feels like I'm being a cougar, because he came off very just very insecure with Christina. There was a lot of covering of the mouth. There was a lot of like, I don't know if he's embarrassed about his teeth. Again, you don't know what people's insecurities are, but I feel like if you keep covering your mouth, it's something you're embarrassed at. And he does, I don't know, he have maybe a slight overbite or, something going on there, whereas he seemed very, oh my God, and he was looking down and he was doing that whole thing. And it was like, he felt very schoolboyish. But I've always felt that he was mature. I always felt like he was very focused. And I always felt that, like I say, he's an educator. So I feel like part of a lot of his boyish energy too comes from working with kids. Same thing with Dakia. She's 39, but she has kind of a youthful energy.
Right.
And as an educator myself, working with kids kind of keeps you a little youthful. A little younger. But I am curious as to what you saw this week, Indira, that made you feel he was mature.
Well, because I saw that mature side. I had always seen the boyish side. I'd always seen that. And this week was the first time I actually saw that mature side, where it made me think, oh, okay, maybe he is mature. Like how you said you always saw that. I didn't see that, but I saw.
Where did you see it? Like, how did it come out for you?
Well, I saw it in the confession, where he was talking about how when he talks to a woman, he likes to make sure that there's the mental connection there, not just physical. And then in talking with the guys when they were at the boathouse and they were sitting out there and talking and stuff, I was like, okay, I think Wiley's mature enough to be able to, handle himself as well. But I don't think there is a woman in this group for him.
Let me tell you. You want me to tell you who the woman is?
Who's that?
Rod, you know who the woman is?
Don't say Dakia.
Yeah.
Dakia?
I was noticing that even though I liked Dakia and Eric Day from last week, I was noticing, because again, I follow them online, I follow them on Instagram, and I noticed their posts. I noticed that they like each other's posts. Even there's a clip, like I said, there's a clip with him rapping on several of their pages, and it seems like he was rapping to Dakia, or they were rapping, like he was not when I say rapping, I mean actually spitting verses or whatever.
Yeah.
He was rapping, and she was the person that he was facing, right? And so I noticed that. I noticed them when they left the brunch. They left holding hands.
Yes.
To this episode as well at the beach. I don't know if you all saw it, but when Demetrius and Thingham were talking, they walked past holding hands. I see something there. I don't know what happens with her and Eric. I also get the impression from social media that Eric and her did not work out, because no one on the cast follows Eric. No, and he doesn't seem to be. I follow several of them and none of them follow him. And he doesn't, I don't know if he follows, and I don't think he follows any of them. There's nothing on his page about the show. What I gather, what I believe, because like I said, when they started, they had 14 people, and I believe it's because they couldn't find the other 6.
Right.
I believe Carmen is a plan. Like, I don't believe she there looking for love. I believe she there to stir up. She there to stir up drama.
And Carmen comes in. She threw me for a whole loop. She's going to manipulate things into her favor.
Can you hold my hair for me? These two.
All of it?
That, yeah.
Okay.
I really didn't forget my clip. I need him to hold my hair. I want him to touch, because it's real. And there ain't too many women on here with real hair.
She seems to be kind of poking. So that's what I believe. I noticed too when they were going to deliberations, and she said to Tori, okay, handle that or something. And he said, yeah, I got it. I can handle it. And I was like, well, what you had to tell him to handle when he go into the deliberation?
You got this.
I got this.
To me, it feels like she came there to kind of just stir things up and not necessarily for love. Mm-hmm. And I think they couldn't find another guy and they put him there. I think he was supposed to be the chef. I think he was supposed to be there to cook their meals.
This is what I call my lab.
Okay, this is your lab?
Today it's the fellas, we're gonna hang out. I'm in the kitchen getting everything ready. I get to showcase my skills, but I'm a lone ranger. You guys go chill, do what you do. I'm in my element. This is my house today.
And they were like, oh, we need an extra person. Do you mind coming? And because he has an acting background and because he has a background in performing and that kind of thing, and he is a chef to the star.
This is deep. This is deep.
I know all the details.
That's my production head watching stuff, and I noticing little things because I'm like, I went through his page. Like he no joke. Like some of them will say they chef. He's a legit chef to the stars. Like the people who he was on Empire. I see the stuff with him in Empire, stuff with him with Notori Norton, and one of the other actors, the guy who plays Don Soul Train. What's the man's name?
Don Cornelius.
Don Cornelius. If you watch that series, the actor who plays him, he also played 50 Cent's son in Power. There were photos with him. There was photos with him and Regina King. There were like a lot of photos with him on like he's the series. Yeah. So I said this dude, and when I look at it, with all of the other cast. They like each other's page. They on each other's page. They talking. Carmen as well. He's the only one that's like, he's not engaging. They're not engaging with him. Daki is not liking any of his posts. So I was like, yeah, so he was probably just there as to make up the number. I genuinely think that he and Daki had an attraction. So I want to see what happens, why that didn't pan out.
I still don't think Wiley's as mature as, I think he might be mature to some degree, but not mature to handle those ladies.
Women, yeah. I don't think so. I definitely think he can handle Dakia. I think they can. I thought if Sabrina had him on the date, but we've never seen her talk to him. Right. I think Sabrina could have been a good option as well. But Sabrina is into Demetrius.
And speaking of, we actually saw them on a date.
Yeah.
Someone decided to come out of his shell this week. He must have heard.
I think production gave him tips because he came out of his shell. He was asking questions. He asked questions to AP. He asked questions to Precious. I said, okay, Demetrius, production gave you some tips to be out there.
Yeah.
So how you been enjoying the process thus far? Like you've been connecting, you've been vibing. Like what's going on? Talk to me.
Yeah. Because he needed.
You did say he seems like to be the type of guy that, he would prefer the girls to come over and start talking to him. And I saw that kind of...
Sabrina said it.
Yeah. And I was like,
Sabrina said it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where it's like a little bit more shade. Demetrius grabs me and pulls me to the side. I am honestly shocked. This is out of the norm. He usually doesn't do anything like this. He's usually kind of like a come to me kind of guy.
I'm glad that we have that chance to connect.
And she made a comparison between him and Tori, and how Tori kind of made the effort, and Dimitri, she compared them when Tori gave her the cupcakes.
Right. Tori is very transparent, which is very different from Demetrius. And it also kind of made me feel like he had a little edge on Demetrius.
Tori came out a little bit too this thing. He's still right there for me. He's still coasting right there for me. But he looked really good this week in Dira.
That's true.
Excuse me 1 minute. He looked really nice this week with the hair out. That was like, okay.
Yeah, I know. You like that.
Moya, I don't think Tori's mature at all. I think Tori is just to just to get a little.
You might be right.
You might be right.
Yeah.
I feel like he worse than Wiley.
But I do think he's more like he reads as if him and Wiley are on set. But I do think he actually was feeling Sabrina. Like he looked genuinely hurt that she chose Demetrius in the previews. That we seen previews for the next show. He was genuinely hurt. Now, so let's talk about, because we talked about Demetrius last week. So let's talk about his date with AP. Let's talk about AP then. Him and AP and also AP.
Yeah.
I think AP's gonna go home.
The two of them, Precious is more interesting.
Yeah.
And then she's not ready.
Yeah. AP still comes across, and I don't know if it's editing, but she still comes across as very professional business. They don't get to see the fun side of AP. They don't get to see the soft side of AP. And that's what the men want to see. If you're coming into a dating thing, yes, you present yourself, but at the same time, they want to see that you can be fun. You have a soft side, you can be a woman.
My thing is be Superman, and that's great. I'm going to support you being Superman. But you have to understand I'm not a Lois Lane type of woman, right?
She's a woman that, you know, knows what she wants and she's sure of herself. So that's the energy I'm picking up for her, but I want to see if she has like a softer, nurturing side, because I need someone that has that nurturing side as well.
Knowing that, okay, your husband passed, are you really over that? You're saying that you're over it, but you're not presenting like you want to get something new. When you want to get something new, you don't necessarily bring up the past a lot, so to speak.
That bringing up the husband thing was getting on my nerve.
Well, are you affectionate?
I'm very affectionate.
Are you?
Yeah, I am. That's actually one of my love languages.
Is it?
Yeah.
Physical touch?
It is.
How does that show up in a relationship?
Well, I was married for almost 10 years and I lost my spouse. It wasn't a choice.
Right.
And so I don't just open my heart to anybody.
That was not what you were asked. You were not asked that. You were asked, how does affection manifest itself in you? How do you express it? Like, are you a touchy-feely person? Are you a whatever? I'm a widow and blah, 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 blah. And like nobody can, like this, that's not appropriate first date conversation to me.
Right.
I mean, it's okay to say I'm a widow. I just leave it. Like I'm a widow, my husband passed, but this, and this. So it's almost like, to Eric's point, she hasn't gotten over her husband passing away. Like she's not ready.
I'm actually a widow. So my late husband passed almost 5 years ago.
I am sorry to hear that.
I did my work. Now I'm ready. Now it's time for mama to, you know, possibly find love again. So
In my mind, I'm like, man, sometimes people talk about their past to help get over it. I'm not sure 100% that she's okay with it and ready to love.
Like some people say it may have been that they edited her that way, but they're going to edit you according to what you say.
What you say, right?
According to how the other castmates perceive you.
Yeah.
So they can't go to anything else she said if what the other castmates receive from you is that you're still stuck on your ex-husband.
Right.
So then they're going to play the clips where you're talking about your husband, because that's clearly how Eric read it. And then with Demetrius, like he said, it's not anything there. Because it really, that date, there was no chemistry.
No.
But she then went talking about her husband, and he was trying to, but to me, Demetrius did a good job of handling the conversation, of trying to direct her and that kind of thing. So good job, Demetrius. Good job. You did good.
So it look like Demetrius is coming up in your book, same or y'all?
No, he coming up in my personal books, but I at least saw some personality where I could say, because for me it was, he's not my type, but I trying to see what these other women see in him. So I still think I still think especially since Sabrina mentioned it, he wants to be chased to some degree. I do applaud. He had one confession. I think one of his confessional looks, he looked really good. I was like, okay, just like that one confessional. But he's not your pick. He's not my cup of coffee at all.
Yeah.
But I like that we saw more of the assertive side of him this week,
right?
And so that I enjoyed.
Hey, y'all think it's a little bit different from like we being older men, like how we love now, and compared to how we was younger? Like
for me, like when I was younger, I thought my physical attraction was love.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I thought having sex was love. Now where I'm at, I'm like, I want that emotional tie with you. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to be vulnerable with you.
Today's Sunday?
Yeah.
Because y'all is preaching the gospel out here.
Right. So to the beach house now, the pool house, whatever you call this place now, we saw a lot of different interactions with them. We saw Ace and Tori, we saw Sabrina and Tori, we saw AP and Eric, we saw Carmen and Clifton, we saw Carmen and Eric, we saw Eric and Dakia, a lot of that.
We didn't see Carmen and Clifton at the beach house.
I didn't
see Carmen. So we didn't see them at the beach. She talked about it, but that's something.
But but that little gossiping circle, I didn't care for. I still don't. I do realize I have to take into consideration if everybody is making these little comments about Laverne, but I felt like they were being very catty about whatever it was.
He's been avoiding me.
He's been like everybody loves to play golf.
He ain't been around. Who you been around?
The ladies and I talk about the guys, and a conversation was brought up about Laverne. He's being distant. He's taking himself away from everyone.
Have you seen him around? I thought he was around y'all.
No, I haven't talked to him all day.
He not.
How are you mad because he's sitting there minding his business? You already said last week that he was negative, which means you weren't interested in him. Sabrina, you weren't interested in him. Who was the other woman they were gossiping with? It was three of them.
Yeah, it was three of them. Sabrina,
Precious.
Carmen.
None of you in there.
Yeah, Precious. Yeah.
So why do you can't be sitting over there? Bear in mind, it's a woman being voted off. So he really don't have to chase none of y'all this week because y'all are supposed to be the ones that are on the chopping block that need to reach out and do whatever. He was like sitting there minding his business. I didn't see him like talking bad to anybody or anything like that. And it was just, to me, I felt like Carmen, like I say, Carmen there to just stir up drama, I feel.
No, but she has a point though.
She does have a point.
She has a point. I think Laverne isn't all that he is presenting up front. And like I said it before like when Carmen and Laverne went on the date, and I said, you know, it's something about him that's off. Like I don't think he's as authentic as he's presenting himself. And him saying that, you know, he don't want to engage in nobody, whatever. And I thought in my mind, what if he's like a bit moody? Like, you know, sometimes he's in, and then sometimes he like to withdraw, and you don't care from him. So I'm like,
yeah.
It ain't. Karma might be the one stirring the pot, but the thing, like you said, she with the ingredients you put in it.
Yes, that's what I got from Laverne. From Laverne, I got that I think he's actually introverted. When he's on the one-on-one with people, you see his personality come out. In those group settings, I think he sort of leans back and he sort of takes things in, and his energy shifts when there's a group of people versus when there's a smaller group or if it's one-on-one. So I think that's a very good observation you made with Laverne. I also found it strange why the women were, you know, commenting on him, and especially when he talked about his two connections were Ace and Joy. For me, that's his two connections, so that's where he's going to put his focus.
Exactly.
Especially if he tried to, like he say, he would try to maybe throw out jokes or whatever, and the women took it as negative. If he picked up on that, he's not going to feed into that. He seems like a person, he picks up on energy and vibes very easily. I think he is moody. I think he is, he may be a sensitive person where he picks up energy. I think he does have some trauma in his past that he has not dealt with. When he talked about not necessarily being in a relationship, he doesn't talk about his intentions, what he wants out of the thing. He likes to get to know people, so he know how to relate to them. But
what do you want out of this process?
I want to be happy.
Okay.
And I want to share those life experiences with someone special.
Okay. So what does happiness look like for you?
Unconditional, honest love.
Honest.
A lot of laughs. You know what I mean?
How do you relate to Laverne, and who is Laverne, and what's Laverne all about? So
I don't trust him. I don't trust him.
You don't trust him?
No.
So this is the thing. When I on my end, I saw him, like I listened. Okay, the writer in me listens for info. That's why I say I always want to hear the information. Now, I don't know if you guys heard it. I think in the first episode, he mentioned that he used to be podgy. He used to be a fat kid who's now in shape. So you can imagine if he was a fat kid, he was probably not the most sought after. And now he's into bodybuilding and whatever not. And so there's a different kind of vibe. So I think the underneath, I always read him. I never read him as being sure of himself.
Right.
I never
he has some insecurity.
He always was insecure to me, and that's where the competitive thing comes out. So you notice he did it with Joy as well.
You know, mine's going a little better than yours.
Oh, we're gonna have a competition?
I mean, we can have a little bit of competition.
Okay, yours looks like, though. Let me tell you what yours looks like, right?
No, and I mean, and he did it in a playful way, but it was the second date we've seen him on where he did that thing where even Carmen called him out on it, and she said, in their date, and she said, well, I work out 5 days a week. And he's like, well, I work out 6 days. And it was like, you didn't need to say that. So so it always read to me as being insecure. Trust is not, that's a strong thing. I don't, because when you say you don't trust somebody, you're saying that they are not honest. And I don't get dishonest from him. I get just insecure and like Indira said, he knows who he wants. So he ain't really trying to do everything with everybody. Right now, he said Ace and Joy. Whatever, something happened with him. I still think something happened between him and Carmen that led to some kind of blow up or whatever not. That's what I feel. But yeah, I duly noted, Taran, I hear you as a guy. I think I respect that you're saying what you're saying. So now it's just like Indira, like I gotta watch out for him. Or you know, he was never one of my top, but I liked him. I think that what he says what he means, and he means what he says.
Okay, so let me just clarify what I meant by I don't trust. Not the trust meaning that he's being dishonest intentionally. Not trusting meaning that there are sides that's not available or that's slowly coming out for us to see, that, you know, there may be, you know, like you said, insecurities or stuff that's happening. Because when he was out by the beach and, you know, like, he's like, you know, I just sometimes just like get away. And then I thought to myself that, you know, what happens when things get tough or you have a disagreement? Do you just shut down and go your way, and then it's like a disconnect? Like, those things are kind of red flags because they, you don't know how aggressively they show up when things happen. And so him and Joy, you know, him and Joy have a good relationship. I mean, a good connection. But how does that show up in a disagreement? Because he doesn't seem to be the type to handle it so well. And so that's why I said I don't trust him entirely as in terms of what's coming off right now.
Okay.
And I think it will show up. I think it will show up tomorrow.
I think anyone in disagreements, nobody, I mean, in a disagreement, most people aren't their best selves, right? So I don't know that I'm going to judge him for how he acts within a disagreement. I do see now where the point about him being possibly moody, possibly being a person who, when he is high, he's high, and then when he's low, which could possibly be, and then he was in the military as well, right?
Right.
Both he and the Air Force or something, which could possibly be, like a kind of depression. Somebody who deals with depression. I'm not diagnosing him as, but those things come out with depression or whatever not. But yeah, I now to your point, Nazira, I did question when Joy asked him about, relationship, and he kind of, wasn't he married already? Didn't he say he was married before? He was married. He was previously married. So for him to say that his dating experience, he kind of spoke as if he had not been married. So that threw me.
Now, let's get down and dirty right now. What's something that no one else knows about you?
I haven't had the experiences of a relationship in a traditional sense.
What did you have?
I had, just dating. It was dating.
Yeah, I thought it strange when he spoke as if he had never been married, like in a serious committed relationship before. And he was like, the way he described it. But I did enjoy he and Joy's date. Like I saw him being, and like they really had a good energy, a good vibe, that kind of thing. And again, I want to see a date between him and Ace. Like, I don't know why we cannot get this date.
You want him and between him and Ace?
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting.
Because that is her main, he is her main connection, and she is one of his connections. So why are we not? I don't want to see all these people with their random conversations. I want to see the people who actually have connections. Now, not unless they don't make it, and so people ain't really whatever, but I would like to see what it is that they both are alluding to. So when they're in deliberations, you understand where the connection is coming from.
Baby, can we go anywhere right now and be free?
I love it.
Yes. Since you've been on the journey, are you feeling somebody? Like, what's going on?
I am.
Let me sip the tea. Is it me or somebody else?
I mean, you are part of the cream that has risen to the top.
Tori, I still don't get his personality. We just got bits and pieces where, him and Joy went on the date. You got his personality?
He's kind of similar to Wiley. He's kind of, but he's older than Wiley, so it's a bit. He's older than Wiley, and he has kids. Like, he has 2 daughters, I think. He has two daughters. One is like a teenager, and then one is a bit younger. So I'm not gonna say he's immature, but he reads as younger than 39, right? But he is he's a realtor, and I'm assuming he does well in that field. So he clearly knows how to do both, I guess. He seems like a fun, laid-back person, kind of like Clifton. He has that. He's not as Clifton,
right?
But they have the same kind of playful, like just gentle energy kind of thing.
Come on, man. I woke up like this.
we have seen him have the deep conversation in episode 1, and then we see him have the playful. We had seen him have the very sexually provocative conversation in episode 2, and then today we see him have the little fun. So he seems to have all sides of him. I mean, if we put all the pieces together,
Right.
he seems as if he's going to make it to the end, because he seems like a person who's safe in that even if the women, he's not going to be in any of the women's bottom.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? He seems like somebody who gels well with all the women. Him and Wiley. The only thing is that Wiley is young, but he's within the age bracket, and he seems to get along well with all the women. So by that alone, he's going to make it to the end, I think.
Right. Okay. Yeah, but that was it for me. For Tori, I wanted to see more, and I guess probably because we haven't seen him with a date with
on a one-on-one date.
Yeah.
One question though.
Yeah.
So as the box opened, right, with the cupcakes,
2 was missing.
Only coming 2 in it, or was it like supposed to be
2
4?
was missing. I was like that. 2 was missing. It was supposed to be 4.
It was supposed to be 4, right?
Because
I was like, okay, it's the way down to 2 before you
Hey,
get it up.
it's the thought that counts. The thought.
I was like, when I saw it, I was like, no, this man did not just give her 2 cupcakes with 2 missing or in a pile.
No, but what I will say though, again, now this is something like when people attribute things to editing, this is something that I can attribute to editing, in that he may have already given it to her, and then production may have said, hey, let's record you giving it to her, and she may have already eaten out of it, and then they had to do it again when she may have already gotten it. You see what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So that's something that you can attribute to editing, but I did notice. I was like, 2 of those are missing. She liked it, so clearly it was
yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And points for effort for him on that. If you notice, I think he is actually putting in more effort than Demetrius, which is why I'm very interested to see what happens next week with them.
Well, we already know she's in that hot tub kissing Demetrius.
Right, but then you saw the conversation between the 2 of them.
You mean that conversation?
Yeah.
See, with that conversation, I felt Tori playing the game wrong. But it may be because that's literally where his eggs are in, or all of his eggs are in the Sabrina basket right now.
So mostly I would say Sabrina. That's my number 1 top, and it probably won't change.
I was like, okay, may the best man win.
And remember, we talked about this last week, where Sabrina was like, he didn't fight for me. Demetrius wanted to fight for me. And she seems like one of those women, kind of like Kyra, where you want men to be kind of battling it out for you. That's the energy that I'm getting from this whole because she mentioned it this week, blah blah blah.
This is the first step of him trying to show me that he's interested in me, so I was happy about that. But Tori and I have like an insane connection. It's just a little awkward to have like the 2 men that you're feeling the most, like not necessarily compete, but compete.
And I'm like, well, you have multiple interests as well, so this is never this show is never a situation where anyone should be thinking of, oh, we fighting over you, whatever, because everybody is supposed to be fighting for who their favorite person is. You know what I mean? So I can see how that goes, where she's kind of like she's looking for. I didn't like that game either, where it's like, I think that you have to use tact with things like that. Now with Joy, we all know that Joy is Clifton first pick, right? I mean, Clifton, it's a mutual thing. They're each other's first pick. But I think for her, she should have played that differently, because there were some things that she noticed about Demetrius that she didn't like and that she liked about Tori. So being that they kind of on equal footing, there's no Claire, whatever, she should have said, no, I'm give me truth or something.
Yeah, give me a truth. Right, give me the truth. Yeah.
I think it was in poor taste for her to do that, considering that she had the two things that she just.
But hey, I mean, like, I think it is what it is, because if Joy
you think
has
what?
a connection, Joy has a connection with Laverne too.
But everybody know. I think everybody know Clifton is Joy's first choice.
Joy even said it in the confessional. She was like, if y'all can't see it.
Exactly. Oh, did you hear that joke about how she wanted to get wet? I say, okay,
Yeah,
join
that's
now.
what she's talking about. I saw it, yeah. But
She wanted to get wet.
Oh. The sexual chemistry between Clifton and I mean, shoot, if y'all don't see it. Oh, it's there. It's there completely.
You know, I give it to Sabrina though. Sabrina, she's gonna stand
You
her
give
ground.
what to Sabrina? What you give Sabrina?
She's gonna stand her ground. If you're not what she wants, she's gonna tell you that. I think she's upfront with it. I do feel like Tori, like to your point, Tori isn't in anyone's really top or bottom, because I don't feel like he really does anything to even be in to be out the topic of conversation.
No, because we just said he made an intentional move with Sabrina, more so than Demetrius. And even Sabrina said to this day that he was more intentional than Demetrius.
Sabrina is more infatuated with the physical, and so she's curious about, like y'all say, the BDE. She's curious about that side. So Tori's little cupcake ain't really flashing, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's what she wants to explore. And it is, I mean, like you said, he is playing it wrong because even though there might be a connection, like I said before, you still have to, there are things, I might be with you for 2 weeks, but I still might not have been able to see that side to you. But if I just stick into my corner, and just focusing on this one person, I still didn't get to see that. And I think that's why he's, he in his feelings, because he's stuck on that, all his eggs in that one basket.
Yeah. He has his focus there. Carmen's interjecting herself into.
Yeah, I have a very
that.
interesting insight on Carmen. Especially considering her and Clifton, Clifton compared her to baby Jesus with the eyes, but they still went out on a date and they still seem like they have a connection.
I'm feeling Carmen. We hang out great, we talk great. Everything kind of intervenes with me.
Who do you like the most? Well, Clifton and I, we went on a date, and we're both like bold and the beautiful. We like talking. I love it.
Right. So I was like, you like her. I didn't know you liked her.
No, but I mean how she interjected on
with
Eric.
Takia. Yes.
With Takia.
I loved it.
I did not like how Takia did not speak up. So I like that Nakia say, okay. I like that Takia redirected and she ignored her. And she said to Eric, when you're done, you can find me. And she left it. But I always say, like, if I'm talking, I said this in week 1, if I'm talking to a guy, I'm going to say, give us a minute, please. I felt Eric should have told her. I felt Eric should have told Carmen.
That's it.
You know what? But that in this is, it's whoever you want, you got to fight for it, right?
No. I still think it's not handle it. I still think it's
with the women, there's tactics. There's a technique you have to utilize when you're doing it.
Yeah. Well, and I felt that Eric should have said.
She got caught off guard, and we saw it. We saw it all on her face. She was like,
that is what you see.
Anyway.
Yeah.
And I pat my eye on Eric for a minute. I saw a little Takia in there, talking, breathing him. It was time for her to move on.
I think in that moment, it was just being playful, because sometimes I'll do it too. If it depends on where your mind is too, because if in your mind, like, you're just being playful at the moment, yeah, you could say that, but that doesn't mean that that's what it is, And sometimes even so, if you're playing a game, then I think Carmen asks a question to collect the information so she can know how to move. And so if he's playing the game right, he could say, and she said, well, who's number one, right? He can play along, but that doesn't mean that's what it is. Because Carmen's smart. Like you say, like I told you in the beginning, when our introduction was boss, I was like, troubled.
Yeah. I could definitely see her being a production plan. She's a production plan. Yeah. Whether she's there for love or not, I don't know. She's there to stir up drama and kind of do whatever to kind of shake things. I just didn't like it. Anyway, I can leave. I can leave right there. Okay, let's talk about our tops and our bottoms. So who do we did say we think that AP is going to be the one to go home, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that she's not making a connection with any of the guys. The one she was interested in, which is Demetrius, he's not interested. Nobody else, I think, is interested. I think even though Precious did not do well this week, she still, as on the production side of things, has the energy that they would want to at least make it to another show. Whereas AP is low, is kind of just very low energy. Not low energy, but she's very kind of, but who is the guy at your top this week in Zero? And for you, Duran, who is the girl at your top, or the young woman that is at your top?
The guy at my top, I think, would still be Eric and Laverne.
Oh, Laverne's still there for you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, my top two would be Takia and Joy.
All right.
I will
for
say.
Me,
oh, sorry. Go ahead, Moya.
for me this week, I would say Eric is still there. And the new guy, it's hard to say the new guy, but I want to see more of the new guy. Like I want to
Donovan.
Where he goes. Sorry?
I say I bet you do a.
I would like to see. Because I'm on the fence with him. I think he's attractive. I think he is sometimes, again, judging a book by color, sometimes the way a person looks, it just breeds player. He just
red flag.
It's the look of a player with the piercing and the tattoos, and he's big and he's tall and right? But his energy has been pretty positive. He doesn't seem messy. He seems introspective in his conversation and the way he talked and stuff like that. I haven't seen arrogant or anything from him. So that's why I'm like, okay, he's attractive. I want to see where it goes. I want to see where, like, whenever he makes a connection, I want to see what that looks like.
Yeah. So when I walked up, I was like, who is this fine man?
Tell me about yourself. Tell me what you're looking for.
I am looking for something real.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I am truly ready to love. I want to just find my forever. You know what I mean? I've been blessed to be very successful in my careers, and now I'm just ready to add some love to the mix.
That's it for this week. We have lots more to talk about, especially in terms of what we see happening next week. So we hope that you come back and let us know in the comments what you think about this episode. And then also, we had some other conversation just randomly. So let us know what you think. And as always, thank you so much for joining us. Bye, guys.
Bye.